Actually, first, before I do that, I know my mom actually checks these recordings sometimes, so hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. All right, let's talk today about pricing a little bit. So a lot of coaches worry about this. And there's really two stages for pricing. There's, I have a price right now. I know my price. I'm comfortable with it or was comfortable with it, but I have to raise my price. I'm going to lose all my clients. They're going to leave. So that's one. That's adding or changing your prices. And then two, how do I set my price as a new coach? If we have time today, we'll get through both. I would like to start with that new coach. So you are a working professional who has decided that you want to start helping people the way that you helped yourself or were helped by other coaches, through strength, through fitness. And that's great. You want to become a coach. But how should you price your services? Alternatively, you're just graduating college or something. This is your first real independent job as a career. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a side hustle. Same question. How do you price? And in the Academy, in Coaching Rediscovered, but through our online Coaching Excellence course, we talk in a lot more detail about these concepts, but I want to introduce a few ideas, a few important principles. The first being resentment value. So you first have to decide what it is that you want out of coaching. Is coaching a way that you serve a particular market? You know, it is literally a service, like a community service. So your family, your friends, a local community offering, you're just giving back to the community the things that you received. You are that guy or gal at the gym who's great at what you do, and you're just helping other people get stronger. That is one approach. Hold on. Another option, and this is what a lot of coaches facing, you need it to make extra money. You have the skill set. You need a side hustle, as it's called. Or you need it to bring in a full-time income. You need it to replace your current professional income in your area of living. So you have to know what it is that you want coaching to do for you right now, because that can change. You can start as a side hustle or community offering and then become a full professional coach. That's fine. You don't have to. It's not an escalator, but you might. Let's say you decide, I'm not sure if I'm even comfortable charging at all. You still need to get something from the interaction that provides the satisfaction that you need to keep going. Because as we say in Coaching 101, the three major principles, the three things you absolutely need to do to be a coach is to coach, learn, and keep yourself in the game of coaching. If you find, if you start and you're just like, oh, I'm going to learn coaching, these are practice clients. Well, eventually that same client isn't going to present squat problems that you haven't already solved. They're going to stop presenting deadlift problems, programming challenges. They're going to get into a steady routine. Now, what are you learning? But you're giving it for free. It takes time. And let's say you start taking on more clients. Let's say you start having less time available and you start feeling a little bit of resentment. Like, I trapped myself here and now I don't know what to do. This is the idea of the resentment value. You have to get something out of the relationship that will keep you willing to do it, even if it would take up 10% more time each week. That's kind of a mental framework that I use. So if you're going to work 5 hours a week coaching, would you still be, if you added another half an hour to an hour a week doing that, would it still be okay? Would it infringe on your time? If not, you are at that borderline where you need a better answer. That doesn't have to be cash. It could be reviews on Yelp. It could be feedback sessions that you schedule calls with once every 3 months, and I would really like to get your position on my coaching and get direct qualitative feedback. It could be, I don't know, they vote for your preferred topic on a city council meeting, or you're running for mayor. I don't care. But you have to get something, assuming that's legal. Don't count me on that. You have to get something out of the relationship that they are happy to give and that will keep you in the game. Now, there's another part of the resentment value as well, which is cash. And if there is going to be cash involved, it needs to be enough that you don't feel like your time is being wasted as that starts to get more time consuming, as it tends to. That's where we step up to the freedom number. The freedom number, I first heard of it and learned of it from Jonathan Goodman. He's learned it, he picked it up from somebody else. And quite frankly, it's the concept of the freedom number is long been tied into the financial independence movement. A lot of people have heard financial independence, retire early, or FIRE. The idea of the freedom number is this. You break down your needs into a monthly expense, and then that is how much you need to meet from your coaching work. Now, if all you need coaching to do is to provide a side hustle type income, your freedom number is 1,000, right? Whatever that means for you, whatever that side hustle income would solve your immediate problems. That's a super easy problem to solve. And then you're like, okay, I need it to meet 1,000. I can handle 5 clients at a time based on the services that I intend to deliver. I need to charge $200 per client per month. Now, obviously, you're actually going to have to charge more because of credit card processing fees at about 3% and taxes. So factor that in. I usually include the margin of risk of 10%. So I'm going to have to charge $220 per client per month if I can serve 5 clients. This becomes a real educating factor for me. Can I serve my clients in a way that they are willing to charge $220 a month? Or willing to pay that much? Am I pursuing and seeking clients who can pay $220 a month? That starts to clarify the kinds of questions that you need to answer as a new coach. Now, let's say you need your coaching work to cover and fully replace, or let's not do that. Let's start here with it needs to meet your basic needs for life. You're a single just out of college, you have a new apartment, and this has to be a workable job. Identify your true expenses for living. So that could be ahoy. So your true expenses for living, obviously you're looking at the basics. So food, housing, transport, but then also you want to consider, am I dealing with utilities? When I consider transport, am I factoring in gas? In our Online Coaching Excellence, we have essentially a checklist type breakdown to help remind you of all the things you need to consider. Liability insurance as a coach, your health insurance, because you're going to be an independent operator, you're not going to be covered by an employer. So making sure that you know your basic life expenses. Let's say that comes to $3,500 a month, $4,000 a month. Let's make that easy. Then that becomes your freedom number. If you know how many clients you can serve with the level of service that you want to provide and the amount of time that you want to work each week. And so let's say that's 20 clients. $4,000, again, conveniently because I did the math, that comes out to $200 a month. Factor in that margin of risk, you have to charge $220 a month to meet your freedom number. That bare minimums to survive as a coach. That's just that bottom margin before coaching can be a full-time professional job. And again, a lot of the questions, what should I charge? So-and-so is charging $180 and she's charging $150 and they're charging $300 a month. What do I do? Instead of trying to compete or undercharge or overcharge or trying to match services, all you're trying to answer is what I need this job to do to meet my values. And then you answer, how do I deliver a service to clients who can pay that and are willing to pay based on the value that I'll deliver? So we talked about resentment value, whether or not you do cash or not, whether or not you're even going to get charged, making sure that your needs are met cost-wise, but if you're not going to charge, emotionally, professionally, like I said with reviews or things, even just at a satisfaction level of coaching because of the people that you're working with. You're working with a category of people, cancer survivors, people with disabilities, that really matters to you personally. then that informs your coaching. I want to work with these people because I will find that satisfying. I'm not going to work with random Joe on the internet who reads a post that I make and wants to sign up, because I have to focus on the people who are going to serve my resentment value because I'm not charging money yet. Then your freedom number. Do I need it to meet a set target? Do I need it to meet all my minimum needs for life? Do I need it to replace my current income? If that's your question, you just need to know what your current income is. And then that becomes the freedom number that your coaching job would have to meet, or aspirationally could meet in the future. Now let's say we're past there, because this actually brackets your needs pretty well. Most coaches, when they run through the freedom number exercise and through the resentment value exercise, if they're not charging cash, come really quickly to find that usually the freedom number is already, or the amount that they would have to charge per client is higher than they thought they would have to. They're already a little bit uncomfortable, so we're already past the pricing question. Now we're at the delivering value question. But let's talk about you're actually a coach. I think we have time for this. Yeah, you're actually a coach already. And you've been coaching, but prices have been going up. Your lease is going up, interest rates, whatever it might happen to be. The services that you're using to deliver your programming have gone up, and now you need to increase your prices. All I'm going to say here, just for time's sake, is if you are going in as a reasonably new coach, or you're not certain about your pricing already, I highly recommend, but charging is important. You need to make a price. You need to leave yourself flexibility for pricing later. I highly recommend starting at a lower price range and leaving yourself the option for price increases in the future. How do you do that? If you're a new coach, brand new, not charging anything for these first steps, you don't want to leave yourself on the hook with someone 6, 8, 9 a year in the future, still charging zero when you know you need to charge, and you don't want to, that conversation is tough. Easy. Start with a 3-month on-ramp. For these first 3 months, I'm going to get you started in strength and conditioning. After this 3-month, we're going to negotiate 75% of what I would charge a client out there. You do the numbers that meet your freedom number, your future freedom number, your aspirational freedom number. You identify what that is and say, hey, I'll coach you for free for 3 months. And if you love it, you'll be paying $175 a month instead of the $220 that you hope to be charging soon. That's one way to handle it as a new coach, is to keep either, I like 3 months as a time because it's long enough for people to see progress, but short enough that you're not going to feel trapped. You can flex on that state, but you can do it however you like. Leave yourself the option, either the option or the requirement to renegotiate. At the end of this 3 months, it's going to be charged. It's going to be for pay. And either a fixed value, I already know it's going to be for $175 a month then, or we will renegotiate that. I prefer the first option. Know what you're going to charge. It's a lot clearer and leaves a lot less wiggle room. Next, and I'll leave it here. If you're already a coach, you're already charging, you own a gym, you need to raise prices to free yourself the time, to improve your services, all these different things. You know you have to, but you just got this squick that, if I tell them I'm going to raise the prices, they're going to leave me. I know it won't help to just say, I know. They won't. Like, you raise your price 10%, 15%, most people aren't going to leave. But that's not, and we've seen it time and time again. Most people are like, oh yeah, sure, totally. They get it. They've been with you for 2 or 3 years. They've seen everyone else raise their prices. They understand the concept, right? They understand the value that you provide. But that doesn't always feel that way to us as coaches. So I'll say this. Just say it. Just outline how you're going to say it. Write it into an email if you want. Write it into a script if you want. But know the value that you've delivered. Because, which you should already know as a coach, you're tracking their progress, you're tracking what you do. Know how you've improved your services. Again, you should, over the 1, 2, 3 years you've been working with this client, be improving your delivery systems, be improving in your cues, have developed relationships, be giving banger gifts that they remember, providing them content that improves their life. Know the value that you deliver. And then when it comes time, don't be apologetic. Don't promise that you're going to add more services to justify the price. All I'm going to say here is just say it. Hey, it's that time. You've been a client for 2 years. I deeply appreciate you. I think we've got a great thing going. I need to raise prices to X coming here in the next coming months. Give them a window. The price increase won't go up until blank. At that point, you'll start seeing it on each invoice that follows. Let me know if you have any questions. That's all it has to be. Keep it simple, because they know the value that you provide. And if you know the value that you have contributed to them and how you've improved your systems and improved as a coach, you can't justify it to yourself. You know you need to in order to keep delivering that value. All right, like I said, I wanted to keep it short. Thanks so much. Happy Mother's Day. And I will catch you next week. Hold on, I had it pulled up here. Yeah, next week's gonna be a fun one. So coaching when you're not jacked. Coaching if you are not a figure model, if you're not a bodybuilder, if you're not, the perfect ultra running, super lean athlete, how do you coach clients? Should you coach clients? Should how the coach looks matter? It's a tough question. It'd be a lot of fun. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you message Barbell Logic Academy, that'll get to me. If you message me at CJ Gocher on Instagram, you get to me there. Highlights from this will be posted here. The whole thing will be posted on YouTube eventually. And I think that's it. Oh, and if you're an Academy student, catch me in Slack or in our monthly coaching calls. Thank you so much, and I will catch you next week.